What if I told you the only thing standing between you and everything you've ever wanted is the way you think? Not your job, not the economy, not your past, just your mindset. You've been taught to chase money, but the wealthy don't chase. They attract. Because money is not a thing, it's a reflection of your inner beliefs, your energy, your ability to direct thought with precision. Napoleon Hill, the man who studied 500 millionaires over 25 years, said it simply: thoughts are things, and some thoughts are worth millions. You don't need more luck. You need more clarity. You don't need a better salary. You need a better philosophy. Because here's the truth most men never hear. Money doesn't follow effort. It follows alignment. When your thoughts, desires, and actions move like a laser, not a flashlight, the world responds. Money flows to power, and power is built from within. But if that's true, why do so many intelligent, hardworking men stay broke? Why do so many die with regret, potential untouched, purpose unexplored? Let me explain. Most people will never get rich. Not because they aren't smart, but because they've been trained to think small. Since birth, you were handed beliefs like handcuffs. Money is evil. Don't get your hopes up. Be realistic. These aren't truths. They're chains. And every time you hesitate, every time you delay your dream, those chains tighten. The enemy isn't out there. It's the quiet voice inside that says, "Who do you think you are?" Napoleon Hill called it the poverty mindset, a mental program of limitation passed down like a family heirloom. It shows up as procrastination, as fear disguised as logic, as that sinking feeling when you see someone winning and think, "That could never be me." But here's the punchline. It could be you. If you rewire your mind, it will be you. Because success isn't earned, it's aligned with. The biggest problem? Most men don't have a clear goal. No burning desire. Just vague wishes and quiet frustration. But without a definite purpose, your mind has nowhere to aim. It drifts. It doubts. It destroys. Wealth starts with a decision, and most never decide. They wait. They hope. They wish. But the rich decide. So how do you break free? How do you shift from fear to focus, from delay to destiny? It all begins with one word: desire. Desire is not a wish. It's not a maybe. It's not something you remember when you're feeling inspired. Burning desire is obsession with a purpose. It's waking up with fire in your gut and going to bed with your vision burning behind your eyes. Napoleon Hill said, "Weak desires bring weak results, just as a small fire makes a small amount of heat." If your dream doesn't feel like a necessity, you will always treat it like an option. Take Edwin C. Barnes. He didn't say, "I want to work for Edison." He declared, "I will become Edison's partner." He had no money, no education, no connections, only desire. But that desire pulled him onto a freight train, into Edison's office, and eventually into a business partnership that changed his life. That's the power of a mind set on fire. Write this down. Nothing can stop a man who refuses to quit and knows exactly what he wants. Burning desire creates focus. Focus creates momentum. Momentum creates results. But it all starts with clarity. So here's your first mission. Define your vision. Not in vague terms. In detail. Write it. See it. Feel it. Speak it every morning. Say, "This is who I am. This is what I will create. This is already mine." When your desire becomes your identity, the universe starts to bend. Because desire isn't about what you want. It's about who you become to get it. Faith is not hope. Faith is not blind belief. Faith is the inner knowing that what you desire is already real, before the world gives you permission to see it. Napoleon Hill said, "Faith is the only known antidote to failure." Why? Because when your mind believes something with certainty, it rearranges reality to match. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the inevitable. Hill didn't just study faith, he practiced it. He wrote affirmations. He visualized his goals as if they were already complete. He taught that your subconscious mind will accept whatever you repeat with emotion, good or bad. So if you keep repeating doubt, you build a fortress of fear. But if you repeat certainty, backed by emotion, your subconscious starts to obey. And when the subconscious obeys, the body follows. You want wealth? Then you must speak like someone who already has it. Think like someone who expects it. Move like someone who has already won. This is not delusion, it's discipline. Write this down. I already am what I desire to be. Say it again, louder, until your nervous system believes it. Because faith isn't just a feeling, it's a skill. One you build, one you live. This is how you become magnetic. Money flows to those who expect it, not those who wish for it. Speak your wealth before you see it, and you'll see it because you spoke it. Knowledge alone is not power. That's a lie you were sold in school. Power comes from organized knowledge. Knowledge directed toward a clear, definite end. You don't need to know everything. You need to know what matters, and you need to know how to act on it. Napoleon Hill said it best. Knowledge becomes power only when it is organized into definite plans of action and directed to a definite end. Most people are drowning in information and starving for execution. They read books. They watch videos. But nothing changes. Why? Because they consume without direction. It's like pouring gasoline on the ground and wondering why there's no fire. Information must meet intention. That's the formula. Now look at the greats, Carnegie, Rockefeller, Ford. They didn't try to do everything alone. They built networks. They paid for mentorship. They surrounded themselves with experts and focused only on the decisions that move the needle. That's organized knowledge in motion. Write this down. I don't need to know everything. I just need to know what works and who can help. So here's your move. Stop hoarding information. Start curating your inputs. Choose one goal, one path, one mentor, and build your personal wealth curriculum. Because when you treat knowledge like a weapon, not a decoration, the world will treat you like a king. You will never hit a target you cannot see. The reason most people stay broke is simple. They have no vision, no clarity, no blueprint. They wake up reacting instead of creating. And without a clear direction, every distraction becomes a detour. Napoleon Hill said, "There is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose. If you don't define your dream, life will define it for you. And that means settling for less money, less freedom, less meaning. But when you declare your vision with certainty, the world begins to reorganize around your decision. Think of vision like a GPS. Until you punch in the destination, you'll wander in circles, confident, maybe, but going nowhere. The wealthy aren't lucky. They're intentional. They see the finish line before they take the first step. They write their goals in present tense. They review them daily. They align their time, their energy, and their circle to protect the vision. Write this down. Clarity is currency. The clearer your vision, the faster your wealth will chase you. So here's your challenge. Create your wealth script. Describe your life in vivid, emotional detail. Who are you? Where do you live? What do you create? How do you serve? This isn't a dream. This is your future. And the more real it feels in your mind, the more real it becomes in your hands. Indecision is the silent killer of dreams. Every time you hesitate, you leak power. Every time you second guess, you lose momentum. Napoleon Hill said, "Successful people make decisions quickly and firmly. Failures make decisions slowly and change them often, if at all." Read that again, because your ability to decide defines your destiny. Think of Henry Ford. When his engineers told him the V8 engine was impossible, he didn't debate. He said, "Build it anyway." For months they failed. For months they insisted it couldn't be done. But Ford never wavered. And because of that decision, they eventually broke through. That's the kind of mind that bends reality. Decisive, committed, unshakable. Most men are stuck not because they don't have options, but because they fear choosing the wrong one. But what they don't see is this. Inaction is the worst decision of all. Because while you wait, others are moving. While you doubt, others are building. Write this down. A bad decision boldly acted upon is better than no decision at all. So how do you train this? You start small. Decide faster. Stick longer. Stop asking for permission. Choose a path, commit to it, and make the path right. When you become a man of conviction, you stop being a victim of circumstance. The world doesn't respond to maybe. It only responds to certainty. The difference between the rich and the rest? The rich don't stop. When doors close, they build new ones. When plans fail, they refine, not retreat. Napoleon Hill said, "Persistence is to the character of man as carbon is to steel. Without it, you'll crack under pressure. With it, you become unbreakable." Look at Henry Ford again. He failed in business not once, but twice before building Ford Motor Company. Most would have quit. Most would have said, "Maybe this isn't for me." But not Ford. He kept going. He was relentless. And that persistence forged an empire. Because the world eventually yields to the man who refuses to back down. But here's what no one tells you. Persistence isn't just about grit. It's about identity. You don't persist because of what you want. You persist because of who you are. Write this down. I don't stop because I don't break. That's the mindset. That's the code. Most people treat failure like a stop sign. The wealthy treat it like a yield, a pause, a redirection, not a reason to retreat. And when it gets hard, and it will, you remind yourself, I decide how this ends. That's how legacies are built, not by avoiding failure, but by outlasting it. No one succeeds alone. Not Carnegie, not Rockefeller, not Hill. Every empire was built by a mind connected to other powerful minds. Napoleon Hill called it the mastermind group, a friendly alliance of one or more minds working in perfect harmony toward a definite purpose. He said, "No two minds ever come together without creating a third, invisible force, a third mind, the mastermind." This isn't networking. This is alchemy. It's the transmutation of energy, focus, and belief multiplied by unity. One strong mind is powerful, but several aligned minds create unstoppable momentum. Wealthy men protect their environment like a vault, because they know your circle is your future. Surround yourself with doubt, and doubt will dominate. Surround yourself with fire, and fire will spread. Think of it like electricity. When thoughts flow between minds without resistance, the voltage rises. Ideas expand. Doubts dissolve. Strategy sharpens. Write this down. I will not grow in isolation. If you're the smartest, most driven man in your circle, you're in the wrong room. So here's the mission. Build your mastermind. Find 3 minds who lift your standard. Not yes men. Builders. Strategists. Soldiers. Meet consistently. Share vision. Sharpen ideas. Hold each other accountable. Because in this war for wealth, no king rides alone. You are not the man you were when this began, because now you see the truth. Wealth is not something you chase, it's something you become. The money, the lifestyle, the freedom, they are reflections of the man you build in silence. And that man, he starts with a burning desire. He walks with unshakable faith. He surrounds himself with power, moves with precision, speaks with certainty, and never backs down. You're not waiting for permission anymore. You're not asking the world to validate your dream, because now you understand. You are the source. Your thoughts create your future. Your vision carves your path. And your persistence turns time into treasure. Napoleon Hill didn't just give you a roadmap. He gave you a mirror. And that mirror shows one thing. Your next level is already inside you. You don't need to be more qualified. You don't need to be more ready. You need to decide. Decide to think differently. To act like the person you're becoming. To live in alignment with the wealth that's already yours in spirit. Because when you align your thoughts, your words, and your habits, money becomes inevitable. Decide now. Not later. Not when it's convenient. Not when everything's perfect. Decide now to become the man who attracts wealth. Not by chance, but by choice. Write your vision. Breathe it. Obsess over it. Speak it every day until your bones believe it. Say it out loud. I already am what I choose to become. Because this isn't about money, it's about mastery. You don't need more time. You need more alignment. You don't need more motivation. You need a mission. From this moment forward, everything changes. No more waiting. No more apologizing. No more shrinking to fit the expectations of small minds. You are here to build. You are here to lead. You are here to own your power. So step into it. Not tomorrow, now. Because wealth doesn't respond to hope. It responds to certainty. And the man who walks with conviction, speaks with vision, and acts with persistence, that man becomes unstoppable. Success isn't luck. It's alignment. Now go build what you deserve.